Happy New Year, everyone! It is finally January 2023, and you sit down with yourself to brainstorm for goals for the next upcoming year, and then the fear of falling through with those goals start kicking in again, and then you just wonder, is it finally too late for me to set out goals for this year? According to Forbes Health, 29% of participants from a recent survey say they feel pressured to set a New Year's resolution. According to the same survey, the highest priorities of resolution falls into improving lifestyle and finances, earning more money, or improving your mental health well-being by going to the gym more or starting new meditation habits. I have also just personally been thinking and brainstorming about what are the most important things that I want to achieve this year and solidifying a list of 2023 resolutions for myself. And with the upcoming Lunar New Year coming up, I just wanted to share with you guys the underlying principles of how I came to have that list of resolutions and just to keep my life from falling apart. So let's get started. The first principle is to set your SMART goals. And this is actually a very commonly used principle in the business context when it comes to strategic planning, but it can also be applied widely beyond that for resolutions crafting. So the SMART goal stands for specific, measurable, actionable, relevant, and time-bound. So the first dimension of SMART goals is specific. Be specific with your goal. You have to narrow it down. My overarching long-term goal is to make it more as a filmmaker, to be a more successful filmmaker, and narrowing it down for this year for me means either writing a few more scripts, a few more very polished scripts, very high quality scripts. Again, it's not about the amount of work that you can produce, it's more the quality of the work that you are willing to be producing in the next year. And it can also mean to shoot just a couple of short films that gather festival attention for me. So the second dimension is measurable, which is to define the metrics at which success will be determined. This helps you chop your goal down to manageable chunks so you are sure you're constantly moving the needle and heading the right direction. It is very important too to check in on how you've been doing and just make sure that you are always constantly motivated along the way. And this can look like writing a fully polished script with many revision grounds. It doesn't have to be too ambitious. Again, you just have to keep it manageable so you can actually achieve this in 365 days. Which brings us to actionable. Keeping your goal manageable and achievable within the next 365 days. I know that sometimes others like ambitious goals and that they are constantly striving to be better at themselves at it. But having a too much ambitious goal for me personally just makes it very discouraging along the way, as you know that there's no way you would have been able to achieve it. So actionability dimension within the SMART goals helped me realize that setting a realistic goals with milestones along the ways make it as easy as possible for me to achieve the goal. Relevant. The why now of goal setting. Why does this goal has to be a 2023 resolution for you? Why is it so important for you right now? An example of this would be for example, if you want to save money for a very big purchase in the future, then saving it up by small manageable chunks right now would be the way to go. And the last dimension to SMART goals is time bound. You have to be very specific of the time that would take you to achieve these goals. And if the goal itself is also divided into different milestones along the way, also make sure to have deadlines for those milestones to help you ladder up to that bigger goal that you want to achieve. My second biggest advice is to focus on establishing habits, because goals are unachievable unless you divide them into more manageable chunks and then would ingrain that into your daily routine for you to be able to achieve them much more easily. And because of that, and because of the friction that you remove from that process, you would then allow yourself to get those incremental bits easier, and because of that, that would ladder up eventually to your bigger goal. And you don't have to be always perfect about achieving those habits all the time. For me, I actually just aim for around 80 to 90% because life would definitely happen and something would definitely throw a wrench at your daily routine that would just mess up your presumably perfect day. As the author of Get Your Ass Together, Sarah Knight, has mentioned in her book, At a certain point, the time and energy you pour into any of the items on your must-do list is going to reach critical mass. And the more of it you spend trying to get one thing perfectly perfect, the less time you have for any of the rest. And so that goes to say that like you don't have to be perfect about your habits. Sometimes you can miss the mark a little bit, but aim for 89% of the time to achieve those little more manageable chunks that would eventually ladder up to your goal. Bake in a few active and health-based goals. This doesn't have to be climbing a full mountain or running a marathon. Sometimes that just means drinking enough water, having a healthier diet, or just taking a walk every now so often. And again, refer back to the SMART goals to have the metric setups to kind of help track you towards success in those endeavors. But having those health-based goals ensure that you are always set up for success to achieving other things around your life because you would always feel better. My last advice is just be kind to yourself and have fun with the process. Resolution planning can always be very intimidating, so go off with a color-coded notebook or like do whatever you have to do to get those narrowed down, and aim for around 80 to 90% success rate in achieving the goals, because then again, life will always come in and kind of like change things at the last minute without notice. And because of that, nobody's perfect, and because of that, be kinder to yourself and just make sure that you drink enough water. Happy New Year again, everyone. And Happy Lunar New Year to anyone who celebrates. Subscribe to my channel if you like my content, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.